It's when Fists Fly with Big Nige, and welcome to our latest edition of Boxing Weekly Roundup. Boxing fans, yes, it's been a mad weekend, There's been a hell of a lot of boxing, but before I get into the boxing, there's been a load of new champions as well, but we'll get to that. First and foremost, boxing fans, I hope you're well, first and foremost, but let's address the Deontay Wilder situation. Where do I start? Deontay Wilder released a video yesterday on Twitter basically accusing Tyson Fury of cheating. I don't know if you boxing fans you've seen this, but there's a video apparently an analysis of Tyson Fury, his glove, and so there's a weapon in the glove. Deontay Wilder's basically saying that there was something in the glove, that's the reason why it burst his eardrum, and that's why it gave him a dent in his head. Also in the video, he states that after the draw, he was offered a lot more money to fight Anthony Joshua rather than Tyson Fury, but he opted to go for Tyson Fury. I'm not being funny, but like, the cat's out of the bag now, isn't it? Because everyone was making it seem as if it was AJ and Eddie Hearn that were ducking Wilder and Co. But in reality, it's the opposite. This is how I've processed it all. Deontay Wilder thought he was smart to go fight Tyson Fury, who's just come out of losing all that weight and come from a cocaine addiction. He thought it would be easier to beat a name like Tyson Fury and raise his stock and then come back to Joshua and say 50-50 rather than a 60-40 split. But the funny thing is, it's backfired in tenfolds because not only has his stock has risen, but he's lost his title, and I'll be honest with you, I can't see him getting it back anytime soon anyways. He's obviously telling Tyson Fury that be a man and step up, be a man of your word, forget about Carlos Takam, forget about Ajit Kabayal, let's get this trilogy going. When you were down in a dark place, I promised you, if you got back, I'll give you opportunity. Be a man and give me my opportunity. But it's not even about that. You guys, for the second fight, you guys put on a 2-fight deal and you put an expiry date on the contract. Like, Shelly Finkel, you man are supposed to be businessmen. Like, what's going on? So all Tyson Fury and his team had to do was, not that they deliberately dodged him, but the contract is expired now. It's invalid. So therefore, of course, Tyson Fury can fight whoever he wants to now. There's also allegations in this video that his water was spiked. He basically says about Mark Breland being disloyal. I've come down to it all, and I think Deontay Wilder might be suffering from mental health. And this is all jokes aside, it's a serious situation because he hasn't accepted his defeat to Tyson Fury. He's just come up with loads of excuses. First it was the body armor, then Tyson Fury cheated with the gloves. Now his water was spiked and it made his legs weak. He thinks he's Mark Breland that sabotaged his water. The fact that he can't even accept that the defeat was down to him just being not good on the night and it was Tyson Fury who was the better man. Until he's able to accept that, I'll be honest with you, boxing fans, I don't think we'll see Deontay Wilder in the ring anytime soon. I think his pride has been hurt. This lockdown hasn't helped neither. But most importantly, whatever's going on in his head is clearly taking over because the excuses, we might even get a new excuse this week, who knows. But all I know is I want him to get back fighting fit and I wish him nothing but the best. Don't get me wrong, there's been past videos where I've slewed him. But in all honesty, you got to take a seat back and just try and analyse certain behaviours. And someone like Deontay Wilder who's very confident in his ability, dream it, believe it, speak it into existence, all of those taglines that he uses. This is half of the character who we're seeing now. And the fact that he's normally quite vocal on social media, he's even detracted himself away from that. And now randomly, he's come out with this video to stir the pot, to get a bit more exposure. But I just genuinely hope in his time by himself that he can get himself back together and come back in the ring, because he's an asset to the heavyweight division. I won't personally like to see him and Fury go at it again. That's my honest opinion. We already know what the outcome will be for that. But I would like to see him against AJ. I would like to see him against Usyk. I would love to see him against Dillian Whyte. There's other fights out there for him. But first and foremost, he needs to get his health back. And I wish him all the best. That's the honest truth. But this is my opinion, boxing fans. I'm not saying he's been suffering from mental health. We don't know. But the actions that he's going about, that's not Deontay Wilder. Not at all. Javonte Davis. Tank. Where do I start? He defeated Leo Santa Cruz. Massive respect to Leo Santa Cruz. I really enjoyed that fight. It was a close encounter. He stopped him in the 6th round with probably one of the most dirtiest uppercuts we'll see this year. Some people are saying it's a contender for a knockout of the year. Credit to Javonte Davis. Credit to both fighters for taking such a fight. For those who don't know, Javonte Davis is now Super-Featherweight WBA champion and a lightweight WBA champion. So he's now a champion in 2 weight classes. This was the first time Leo Santa Cruz has been knocked down from a fight. He's only lost once prior before that. It was a hell of a fight. I just feel Leo Santa Cruz's style, his come forward fighting style, and the power and the explosiveness of Javonte Davis, it kind of fell into his hands. Don't get me wrong, they were going back and forth and it was a tight contest up until the 6th round, but I just feel the power of Javonte Davis and the explosiveness prevailed eventually. This was, to date, Javonte Davis' toughest test on paper. And I wouldn't say, he passed with flying colours. And the sky's the limit. This was his first pay-per-view fight as well. The sky's the limit. I'd love to see him Teofimo Lopez. Me personally, I think he beats Devin Haney. He beats Ryan Garcia. But I think the fight I want to see is with him and Teofimo Lopez. And I would like to see him against Lomachenko as well. I know it sounds mad because obviously Lomachenko's lost to Teofimo, but two slick southpaws going at it, it can't go wrong, right? Apparently, don't quote me on this, but Adrian Broner announced in an interview that it's already set in stone that his next fight will be against Ryan Garcia. We all know Ryan Garcia is fighting Luke Campbell December the 5th, but I can't lie, that will be one hell of a fight. I think Tank wins anyways because of his superior punch power, boxing ability and explosiveness, and just based on ability anyways. But it's still a fight that everyone wants to see. So stay tuned for that, because let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see Tank Davis fight Teofimo, Devin Haney, Loma, or Ryan Garcia? Let me know your thoughts, fans. Alexander Usyk has retained his WBO mandatory position. He beat Derek Chisora on unanimous decision over the weekend. I'll be honest with you, I thought it would have been, not a boxing masterclass, but I thought it would have been more of a landslide victory for Usyk. Chisora said what he was going to do. He was going to apply pressure. He weren't coming to box. There was times when we see him switching to southpaw, and it was kind of confusing for Usyk at one point. But Usyk wasn't the Usyk that we've seen of the past. I know he hasn't been in the ring of late, but so that's the same for all the fighters. He landed clean shots. He showed his ability in some stages of the fight, but he was basically being hunted, and he was just literally evading overhead rights from different angles from Chisora. He basically fought Chisora's fight rather than fighting his fight, but something's telling me that I think he purposely went to go fight in that style to shut out the critics and make it seem that he can handle it at the heavyweight division. This was his toughest test by far. And I'll be honest with you, in all the fights I've seen of Usyk, he's always been slick. He's always been a level above. He's always been in control. This fight against Chisora made me open my eyes and made me think, do you know what? Against the top three, against your Wilders, against your Furies, against your Joshuas, maybe even Dylan White as well, put in that bracket. I feel those guys will be too big, too strong, and they'll be able to implement their size and the fact that they can punch from any angle. He's obviously mandated to fight Joshua next. Joshua is a combination fighter, or not just a combination fighter, but loves to throw combos and can hit hard. And I believe he will use his ring generalship to be able to implement his size to hunt down Usyk. So I think, at first I thought Usyk will give him trouble, but I think now after watching that fight against Chisora, I think Usyk will struggle against the bigger boys, the elite boys in the division. But don't quote me on that. He's basically saying that I'm not just going to be a world champion, I'm going to be undisputed. So who knows? But let me know your thoughts, boxing fans. Was you shocked by the decision? Because a lot of people were saying that as well, that some people thought that Chisora won. I thought one of the judges' scorecards was outrageous. It was actually a piss take, in all honesty. But it was a close contest. But I feel, how I score boxing is about who lands the cleaner shots. And Tony Bellew and other people were saying how Tony Bellew in particular actually said that he landed double the more shots than Usyk did. And I'm like, Tony Bellew, you're actually heavily invested. Congratulations to Savannah Marshall, who claimed the WBO middleweight title after stopping Hannah Rankin, in 7 rounds. That was probably the first time I've seen Savannah fight live, and I'll be honest with you, I liked what I saw. I saw ring generalship, I saw a solid performance, and I saw a heavy hitter, like very heavy-handed. You could hear the shots when she was landing on Hannah Rankin, and Hannah couldn't hack it. She couldn't hack it. She's now obviously WBO middleweight champion, and it's going to take some stopping, but surprise, surprise, guess who's been mandated to fight her next? The one and only Claressa Shields. For those who don't know, Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall have a history in amateurs. Savannah Marshall's the only person to beat her, and it's kind of like a little dig to Claressa Shields, like a little chip on her shoulder, like you can dominate for all you like, but you still haven't beaten Savannah Marshall. So that fight is going to be one hell of a fight, I'll tell you that for free. Savannah Marshall said in an interview that Claressa don't want this. She's not ready for this. And then in a tweet now, Claressa says she's smoking dope. They've been going back and forth already with Eddie Hearn and her promoters. So hopefully we get this fight and we get to see who the number one in the division is. I feel, based on the reaction from Claressa Shields, I do feel like Savannah, without even saying much, can get under Claressa Shields' skin. She's quite vocal, she's quite loud, and I feel like she has a point to prove because obviously the loss in the amateurs, but only time will tell. Hopefully we'll get to see that fight sometime in the new year. Let me know your thoughts again. Will Savannah win? And will it be repeat, or will it be a new, or will Claressa Shields claim the WBO title that she once had? Because obviously she had it before but had to relinquish it because she became WBO champion in the weight class above. So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm going for Savannah Marshall. I'm going for the silent assassin. That's my new name for her. And with Peter Fury in your corner, I mean, you can't go wrong, really, can you? Inoue stops Jason Maloney in 7 rounds to retain his bantamweight title. I mean, there's so much boxing going on that I just thought I had to announce it. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I can't see many men beating Inoue in his weight class. I would love to see him step up in another weight class and test his wits, but who knows? Right now, he's the king of that division and will stay there, to be honest. Congrats again to Michaela Mayer for claiming the WBO Super-Featherweight title. We all know that you want to fight Terry Harper now. Hopefully, Eddie Hearn, you're the man to make that happen. Again, like, as well as the men's boxing, there's so much good fights in the women's boxing as well. I just obviously announced Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. You got Terry Harper, McKenna Mayer. Like, it's such a good time to be in boxing, and I know with all that's going on with the world, at least elite sports will continue, and we get to see the fights that can keep us sane, at least at home, if you get what I mean. That's it for Boxing Weekly with myself, Big Nige. Thank you to everyone that tunes in on a weekly basis. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button on the screen. Before I head off, I just want to make sure everyone stays safe. Obviously, it's just been recently announced that we are going into another lockdown. I hope everyone stays safe, stay blessed, and God bless. Peace.